Welcome to Wander Paws Down Under. I'm Dan,
And I'm Anita.
and together we recently quit our corporate jobs and are travelling around Australia with our dog Wally, our cat Paprika, our off-road caravan, and our trusty Toyota Hilux.
Mhm.
So last time we brought you an episode from the Clare Valley and Barossa Valley regions. Since then we've moved about 100 kilometres further north in the direction of the Flinders Ranges. So today we're going to talk about a few cool areas where we stayed, where we drank and ate, where we got entertained, and where we hiked. And another particular consideration we're starting to see all too often now, what to do when there's a national park involved and you got pets.
And it's actually pretty exciting because we have found a lot of little amazing spaces to take your dog and your cat on this little segment in our journey.
But most importantly, we have actually seen a really big transformation, particularly with Paprika,
Mm.
and the way that he's actually enjoying, I should say, the trip, enjoying sometimes, but definitely getting a lot more comfortable. And we had a bit of a breakthrough moment where he started actually venturing outside on his own accord, which is a really big step.
Yeah, he kind of like just gave us like these little indications that he wanted to go outside. Like what we were doing is we were leaving the door open, but with just the fly screen, so he could kind of look outside. And the first stop that we actually were going to talk about, Appila Springs, we were so lucky because when we stopped there at this free campsite, there was literally no other dogs. Maybe like one other caravan was there, so it was a perfect little, I guess, chain of events that took place next.
And lo and behold, Paprika asked to go outside, so we put the harness on him.
Mhm.
We obliged, and he led the way, as you can see in the video. Had a good little time walking him and Wally, and yeah, it just really was a nice little exploration of the local nature.
It was really exciting. It was like his little first outback adventure. And I guess it's like kind of warming for us because we were so anxious and so scared to bring him on this trip. Um, and for the same reasons of most of the time, it was other people's concerns about the situation that were like weighing on us. And then kind of the actuality of this whole thing when it evolved and took place, like we saw so many different behaviors from Paprika. We're just not sure if he was happy or he was sad, or like we kept getting different sort of moments where sometimes we were like, oh yeah, we're all good, he's coming up from the bed and he's kind of like hanging out with us, and then other days where he just wouldn't want to come out at all. But to have this moment, this kind of breakthrough where he would just come out with us, be on the leash, yeah, it was really
It's pretty
special for
special.
us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, big moment. So all this lovely business took place in a place called Appila Springs, or Appila Springs, as I got corrected in the pub. Appila Springs, 245 kilometres north of Adelaide, between Clare Valley and the Flinders Ranges regions. You wouldn't actually know it's there unless you went onto Wikicamps and had a look at it. It's quite well reviewed and quite highly rated, and for good reason. It's a cute little gorge that has two levels where you can camp,
Mm.
either the upper level where we camped with a heap of flat spots, including for caravans and big rigs.
And nearest to the toilet.
Very important, and such a clean toilet. Like, I've never
Oh
seen
yeah,
a
it
drop
was
toilet smelling that good, and
it was some sort of like special eco toilet. Like they actually had something written about it. So it's obviously not, yeah, it's like not a common way that they do it, but it smelled amazing.
mm.
Like, and it sounds friggin' weird, but like you walked in there, I was like, oh, it's like really, really nice. And yeah,
Made
I
an
don't know.
impression.
It was weird. Like it actually smelled good.
Yeah. So in terms of the actual spot itself,
Uh,
yeah. So we stayed at the top level and had beautiful little views over the gorge and also a sunset when the sun went down. Not many people around. Fully self-contained in terms of you need to bring your own water, have your own solar setup. There's not really any amenities other than the toilet. And
There is actually a little bit of water in the
mm,
like is it a gorge?
it's
Yeah,
a
it's a gorge.
gorge, yeah.
Like there's like a little valley and there's a couple of little ponds of water, and the cute part is the little sheep are coming down for a little drink with their lambs, and yeah, it was cute. I
Yeah.
liked it.
Also, it's quite a fragile little environment. You'll see like
Mm,
surrounding wetlands, so it's not recommended to swim there just because of the impacts that you can have on the water. So we
yeah.
kept Wally away
Yeah,
in
like they
terms
did
of
have like
going
a little
in.
information sign as well, like to keep Wally out of there, because it's a very delicate balance there, so anything can kind of set off the natural world. So we
Mm,
were doing the respectful thing and keeping him away from there, but he did enjoy walking up the the big hills and
yeah,
all of the other things.
definitely. So a really good free jump off point to explore the surrounding region.
And on our
The fun
drive,
part.
on our drive, we found this awesome brewery. It was actually on one of my dog friendly lists from like various blogs that I had read about South Australia. It's in the town of Melrose,
Mm.
and it was called Jacka Brothers Brewery. Now, this place is awesome because they do actually make a couple of beers on site, but they also only stock within the Flinders Ranges and within like their Melrose area and a couple of other little areas within their range. Beers and gins and all of those kind of things. So it's actually really cool because there's only local flavors.
Yeah, and the place looks the part. It's like an 1800s building, very high ceilings, cozy fireplace, outdoor fires, outdoor pizza oven. Really, really nice vibes. We were there, I think, on a Saturday afternoon, and it was just starting
Yeah.
to pick. Sorry, Saturday morning, and it was
Yeah.
just starting to pick up.
And the guy reckons that like 400, 500 people, like some days on a weekend, so it can go off. And apparently they have like country music artists perform there sometimes. So it
Mm.
has a vibe if you check like we kind of just stopped by, so we didn't get that sort of side of the venue, but it was awesome because Paprika came with us.
Paprika came with us.
Yep.
His first
And
brewery.
yeah, and Wally, and we were actually allowed to take them inside the main bar area. So it was actually a bit of a chilly day, so it was nice we could sit by the fire.
Yeah, definitely made an impression upon him. Yeah, I don't think he got to try anything, but I think he was just happy to be part of
I
the
think
vibe.
you slipped him like a little bit of no. And also on so after Melrose, we ended up going on to the city of Quorn, and I don't mean corn like this kind of corn.
Or like that.
You're like freak on
That.
a leash corn. It's Quorn spelled Quorn. It's a cute little town, and I think you were kind of interested in the silo show. We'd heard some things about this silo show, and we had heard about Flinders Gin. So we thought we'll go there again on my dog friendly list. Flinders Gin, you can literally bring the dog into the distillery, and we did our gin tasting with doggos. And the best part is they actually have a groodle on site.
Mm.
So Wally, actually, I don't think they got along very well.
Yeah. Wally was a bit like, I thought I was the top dog around
Yeah, I was
here.
gonna lie and be like, "Oh, was that cute?" No, I think they were like at each other, so that was fun. But no, it was actually really nice. Once the dogs had their little moment being boys, Wally was having a great time. He just sat on the floor. They kept giving him treats, so he was
Mm.
loving
Lucky
life.
boy.
Like people love dogs in this town. We soon discovered that there was more than one dog-friendly location in Quorn. But not only that, the actual gin was delicious.
Mm. Those
Um,
botanicals, they use a lot of Australian
yeah,
native botanicals from around the area.
Bandung.
Quandong, and I think there was like four or five others. And
Yeah,
you
like
can see
all
a picture on your screen now, but just uniquely Australian flavors,
all of the
good hints.
botanicals were native bushes and stuff like that, so it was actually really cool. And the staff are very much very passionate about what they do and just accommodating. And we thought after that we'd just go for a walk. We walked down the town
Mm.
with Paprika in the caravan at this point because Paprika, we knew that we were going into a venue where they had a dog on site. So being responsible cat owners and parents, we cannot bring Paprika into venues where we know he might get frightened by other dogs. We know our cat. He doesn't like other dogs.
Know your cat. Know your cat.
So just know your cat. Like there's like people that have cats that are a lot more confident than that, but we know Paprika couldn't handle, another dog being around. So we left him in the caravan, which is perfectly safe. We lifted up the roof, had the windows open. He's fine. But anyway, we were walking around town and we saw like this little venue called Scruffy Fellas,
Mm.
and it just looked a bit interesting. And I saw that there was like multiple dogs sitting out the front, so I was like, okay, it must be a dog-friendly place. Let's go check it out.
Yeah, some interesting like neon type lighting inside,
Mm.
and it mentioned something about barber products, but it looked like a bar. So we were
It was
like,
like a
okay,
novelty shop.
yeah.
Was it a coffee shop? Was it a bar? It
We
was
weren't
very
quite
interesting.
sure. Anyway, we went and found out. So we parked Wally outside, and they actually have these cute little hooks, like they call it doggy
Mm.
parking. So you can park your dog, go inside, and as we soon found out, Wally was also welcome inside there.
Oh, and they have little pooches from. Oh my goodness, they had two doggies there, Willie, yeah, and Harry,
Willie
Willie
and
and
Harry.
Harry. And do you know what? We later found out that they are relatives of the owners of Flinders Gin, so the love for dogs made sense after that.
Mm,
But yeah, so Wally was allowed to come in again. I think all of the dogs kind of had it off for a little bit,
yeah,
but
definitely.
soon after that they settled down, and we got to talk to the lovely owners of this establishment and
So,
found out that they
yeah,
were.
one of them's from Ballon, which is
Yeah.
a town about an hour to the west of Melbourne.
Mm.
So, really close to where we come from. And they had, him and his partner had recently moved to Quorn to be closer to his partner's family. I think
Mm.
they're the ones that own the distillery. Anyway, really, really lovely fellows. Super cool, interesting conversations. We'd actually gotten a little bit homesick by that stage, so it was nice to connect with people that come from a part of the world where we come from and
Mm.
sort of reminisce about some of the years gone by and some of the experiences we've all had to
And
have
to
in
have
Melbourne.
some top-notch cocktails, might I add.
Yeah.
They were so good. Like we'd been resisting kind of like drinking out and stuff like that. But they had some really, really interesting ones on the list, and we just, yeah, wow, they were delicious. We got roped in, I think, to like their signature
The signature
espresso
pooch
martini or
and the
something.
signature pooch
Yeah, and then
recommendation ones. Yeah.
oh my gosh. And
Amazing.
then of course, being from Melbourne, the coffee is next level, delicious,
Proper coffee. Proper
good
coffee.
coffee, good service, good people.
Good barber products too.
Yeah, and oh, not even just barber products, they had like scented candles, like
They
it
even
was
had like
cool.
different colored tights. Like if you go to festivals and like music festivals and you wear, different colors.
All right. Anyway, we'll skip over that topic. Um, no, it was actually awesome. So we were really, really amazed by the town. And then again, we had the Silo art show, which was kind of cool. And again, dog friendly because it's outside.
But what was different about this solo art was the art installation started only when the sun goes down.
Mm.
So it's a nighttime show. It goes for about 4 hours and it just loops different artists from around the area and their artwork.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Really nice to have a bite right in front of it. It was a little bit chilly, so we sat in the caravan and enjoyed it from our little heated
Yeah.
abodes.
But they have like
yeah,
seats and stuff outside where you can sort of set up if you want to have a picnic and all of that.
really cool. So yeah,
It has a
big
bit of
big
history about the town and then like some of the artists of the town and yeah, it's cool.
yeah, big thumbs up to Quorn. We absolutely
I
loved our stay
loved
there.
it.
Yeah, it was
It
really
was good
cute.
fun.
Mm.
And then we went on driving some more. Where did we end up?
Warren Gorge. So Warren Gorge is only about 15 minutes north of Quorn,
They
and
actually recommended we went there.
mm,
The
yeah, the
guys from
guys told
Scruffy
us about it.
Fellas actually had
Mm.
recommended we went there because they said that they've been there with their dog. So a little bit of inside information.
Mm. So Warren Gorge, you can find it on Google Maps or Wikicamps.
Mm.
It's not a national park. It's actually leased to the council by a private owner, and as such, there's a donation that's recommended of $17 per vehicle per night, or $4 for the day entry. And what that does is it gives you access to a beautiful range of different sites all along the gorge. Very secluded, quite private. There's
Toilets,
toilets. Yep, no
rubbish
showers.
bins.
You're allowed to have fires. And it's close to the
And there's a good
5.2K
hike.
trail. Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to tell us about the trail?
Yeah, so the hike was actually really beautiful. I think it was
5.2.
or so kilometers, yeah.
Mm.
And you can take the dog with you. So it was a really beautiful hike. It kind of starts off wherever your campsite is, or if you're there for the day, there's like a entry point. It's really beautiful, sort of different terrain, walking through the trees and then up the mountain. And unfortunately, yet again on a hike, I had to see some sort of circle of life business. I don't know.
Especially with the sheep. What's with
I don't
what's with these
know.
recurring themes?
I keep saying these things that I don't want to say. Unfortunately, a sheep had fallen from the top of the hill and had landed right on the path, and he was not in great shape. He wasn't alive, so unfortunately, I couldn't do anything to help the poor guy, or girl. I don't know, the sheep. I couldn't do anything to help it. It was well past its used by date, and unfortunately, I had to witness that again. But the hike was just magic. Like there's little rock points where you can walk up and have lookouts. Yeah, it's really, really beautiful. Red rocks again, and just different sort of settings along the way.
I'm actually glad that you did that hike before I did. So you had to experience that. You got to warn me, and then I could mostly avoid it. So,
Yeah.
but the reason we were actually separated for that particular day was I really wanted to do a hike called Devil's Peak, and Devil's Peak is not dog friendly.
Mm.
It's not dog friendly for two reasons. One, it's private land,
Yeah.
so obviously the owners can decide who comes on or who doesn't. Secondly, as I found out when I did that hike, it's actually super steep and quite challenging, and there's quite a bit of rock scrambling involved. So even if you could get a dog near there, you wouldn't
It
want
wouldn't be
to have.
safe.
Yeah, it wouldn't be
No.
safe for the doggo. But
So this was like one of our little tests doing something different. We went one at a time, and so Daniel went out for the day. He did his hike at Devil's Peak, and I took Wally for Warren Gorge. And I knew that Wally would be happy to do that hike again because he does a dog. I don't think
it's Wally.
he doesn't know what the difference is. He's happy to go for a walk, right? And then the next day we actually swapped. So that's one way that you can deal with on the road. If you guys, are not able to align your schedule, and you want to go and do something separate, or there's a national park or there's a private property where dogs are not allowed, just being able to take your turn and do things separately sometimes, which was, it's the first experience for us on the trip.
Yeah, that being said, we did also have a plan B, so we had looked up basically if there was any pet sitters
And
or
there is.
kennels in the surrounding area, and lo and behold, there was a
In
lady
Quorn, yeah.
in Quorn that offers those services, so that's
I think it's
another
only like
option.
$20 or $25, so that's really cool.
So that's a good option if you do want to both do a particular hike or go to a certain area. You can always leave
Yeah.
them with pet sitters, and it's a situation I think we're going to experience a lot more on our travels. So
Yeah.
just got to be flexible. Look up Facebook, look up Google, do some digging, and usually
Yeah.
you'll find a solution.
Being in Australia, a lot of places are national parks, so pets are not allowed for the, obvious reasons. So yeah, this is just the start of those challenges for us, and I'm sure that there'll be more to come.
But overall, thus far, I've actually been refreshingly surprised at how accommodating and welcoming South Australians are
Yeah.
towards pets, including cats, which is, a bit of an unusual thing. You don't normally see many cats around, you see some dogs. But overall, it's actually been pretty easy to get around
Like
here.
more
And
so than Melbourne, like
yeah,
in the sense that you could never bring your dog into a venue.
yeah, inside.
Like one thing is to have him outside, but like there's multiple venues, multiple tours that we have done now where the dog was actually allowed to come with us. So that's pretty impressive.
And that's important when it's cold outside. So in a lot of these places, it's been cold enough to wear a puffer jacket, like a down
Yeah.
puffer jacket, and being able to come in, sit by a fire, be welcomed in doing so, that's really special. So thus far, we're really enjoying South Australia and all the fruits that it's had to offer
It's
us.
definitely on the top of the dog friendly list for us.
Definitely. All right, so I think that's probably enough for one little episodio. Next time, we're going to come to you from the Flinders Ranges, which is, I think, going to be next level. Excited.
Very exciting.
Thanks for tuning in, and as always, subscribe for more good content and tips.
He's lost the plot. See you next time.
See you next time. Bye.